Okay, I think we're ready to start. So we'll go ahead and get started. Um, if welcome everybody. So these are just a couple house rules we have for today. So thank you everybody for coming for the UW Milwaukee session. So this session will probably end 45 minutes past the hour. This session is being recorded, so we'll be able to share this out for everybody else late after the recording. When you're not actively speaking, we ask that you please mute yourself, as well as you can also share your screen, and I believe we'll be sharing screens throughout this video. So another thing is, are you playing a video? Turn on that option when your screen sharing, which is the share computer sound, and that could be found above the three little dots under the more. So that way the computer sound could be more clear for our attendees. And also StriveScan will send you a list of the registered students. The next session will end 45 minutes past the hour. And then when we're answering student questions, the Q&A button, we don't want to answer them live, we'll answer them at the end. And then for the attendees, how to ask questions is you use the Q&A button to type in your questions. Your camera and microphones are off. You're going to be muted, but the panelists can't see or hear you. So definitely ask questions as you see fit. Another thing, we definitely want you to sign up for more sessions, for more colleges. So one way you sign up is you go to www.wacac.com just to check out the schedule for the rest of the week. There are a lot of tons of universities here, so definitely sign up for any available options. And then finally, as I mentioned before, all sessions are being recorded and will be available at wacac.com. So overall, thank you for joining us. There will be a quick survey at the end after we close for about, we have 4-question survey. And then as always, sign up for more sessions, and then recordings will be available after we're finished. Without further ado, Jasmine, if you wanna go ahead and share your screen.
Alrighty, we will kick it off and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our session about UW Milwaukee. My name is Rachel Stern. I am one of the admissions advisors here for incoming freshmen at UWM, and we are going to be giving information about our university, a little bit more about our academics, our student life, as well application process for our upcoming seniors who are applying this year, and then we are going to have a student panel. So there's going to be a lot of time for you to ask questions of our current students and to ask us as admissions advisors questions as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Junior. I'm one of the admissions advisors at UW Milwaukee. I'm just going to share with you all a little bit about our campus here. So as you can see from the slide, our campus is conveniently located 15 minutes north of downtown. We're also 5 minutes away from the lakefront. So it's in a real nice area and has a lot of green around our campus, as you can see from the slide there. Whoa. So there are a lot of students, they choose to live around our campus. I actually lived about 2 blocks away from campus when I was an undergraduate student there. So it's a really nice place to be in a really nice environment because it's mostly just other college students. One thing that I really appreciated is a lot of the businesses, they cater towards the student population. So if you're choosing to live around campus, it's a really nice place to be. Lots of the restaurants, they will accept your meal plan. That's really nice. So if you don't want to like try the cafeteria food all the time, you can go out and try new restaurants within a block or 2 of our campus. Plus a lot of the restaurants, they're open till like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So when you just finish writing your paper, you can get some cookies delivered to your front door or something like that. So that's something that I really liked when I was a student there. Plus it's just a lot of other college students. To the north of our campus, from the picture you can see, it would be the village of Shorewood. That is the closest suburb bordering the city of Milwaukee. Super quiet neighborhood. Funny story that I always like to share is my roommates and I, where we were looking for places to stay, we almost rented from there, but it was too quiet from us. So if you're looking for a really nice, quiet place to be, you might want to check out Shorewood if you're coming to campus here. But our actual campus itself, it's really nice. It's one big, gigantic square. So if you're kind of like me, I use a GPS every single time I travel somewhere. It's really nice to go and navigate around campus because you make 3 left turns, you end up right back from where you started. So it's really easy to learn where all of your classes are at. And it's also really nice that all of our buildings, from the picture you can see that all our buildings are really close to each other. That means if it's snowstorming or if it's super hot outside and you want to get from one place to the next, it's also really convenient for you as a student as well. So that's our that's a little bit about our campus. We'll be opening it up for Q&A later if you guys have any questions about things specifically.
Okay, thank you, Junior. A little bit about our students. We have about 27,000 students at UWM. 21,000 of those students are undergraduate students, but we do have students on our campus that are also pursuing master's degrees and doctorate degrees here as well. There's never a time you're going to feel like there's 21,000 students at UWM. The reason why is we really only require our freshmen to live on campus. So there's never a time you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to a school with 21,000 students. It's very, very sporadic when all of our students are on campus. We also have a dual mission at UWM of access and research. Access to us really plays into a lot of what we do here at UWM. Really one of those being our holistic application review. So we're really looking at your whole application, starting with that essay. So we can see you as a holistic student, as well as see you beyond those transcripts and maybe those test scores. And then a little bit more about our access. We are the most diverse university in Wisconsin, and we're very, very proud of that. We have 50 states represented and 80 plus countries represented at UWM. There are many benefits to going to a diverse university, but what I kind of like to share with students is you might be in the same class as your roommate, but the students that make up that class make those classes completely different, where their backgrounds are, those experiences. That's something that's really unique to UWM. Also, with our support services, we like to support our students from the start of their admissions process all the way through their time at UWM. So those support services are really there to help you throughout your time. We also are a top transfer destination. Being a top transfer destination really means is we support our transfer students. Many students are choosing technical colleges or branch campuses. And the fact that we are a top transfer destination really shows that we support our students. We do that by having a dedicated transfer staff that can help you from the start of your process, whether it's at a different university or a different technical college or branch campus. We have a support staff that can help you throughout that time. And it's never too early to start reaching out to us if you do decide to make that transfer. We also are an R1 research institution. Basically, R1 basically means we are federally funded to do research on our campus. Those opportunities provide our students with more of those hands-on experiences. A lot of our students are getting experience on that undergraduate level, hands-on. And I think a lot of students think research as science-based research, so like labs, kind of like this picture. And we do have that type of research, but there's other types of research as well. It's more beyond the lab that a lot of students are thinking about. We also have about 90 degree programs for you to choose from. So a lot of great programs for you to choose from. That's kind of all the information we want to share with you because we wanted to give our students an opportunity to tell you about their experience. But first, we all wanted to introduce ourselves so you knew who we are. So I'll go first since I'm already talking. As I said, my name is Jasmine Binion. I am the new freshman admissions manager. Previously recruited in the Kenosha, Racine area, and now I am recruiting more locally in the Milwaukee area.
I can go next. I know I introduced myself in the beginning. My name is Rachel Stern. I am also one of the new freshman admissions advisors. My territory for recruitment is going to be Ozaukee, Washington, Waukesha County. And then I also have Jefferson County outside of Waukesha and a handful of schools in the Milwaukee area. So if you are from any of those areas, I am your admissions advisor.
Hi guys, again, my name's Junior. I'm one of the admissions advisors here. I work specifically with all the schools from like Fond du Lac and Sheboygan all the way up to Marinette County and even a little bit further out west to like the Marathon County area. So basically everything all on the eastern side of Wisconsin and north of Milwaukee, I work with those students there.
Hi, I'm Christina Conroy, also a freshman admissions advisor, and I work with students in Kenosha, Racine, Walworth, and Rock, pretty much all the counties if it borders with Illinois. And then I also have Dane County, Dodge County, and sort of the counties surrounding Madison as well.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariana Sanabria. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment at UWM. And so I work with this fantastic team of admissions advisors. Also taking a look at how we can, work with you in your schools, work with you after school hours, and also taking a look at making sure that you have an opportunity to still visit our campus throughout this year. And so I know folks are probably going to cover that this afternoon, but I just want to remind you all and also let you know that we are open for tours currently. We're taking small groups and you can bring a guest. And so if you want to come by campus, we will be more than happy to have you there. All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Estela. I'm a UWM student. I will be a senior this year, studying occupational therapy with a minor in psychology, and I am from, Milwaukee. So yeah.
Am I on? Can you hear me? Let me turn up my volume a little bit. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam. I'm a senior here at UW Milwaukee as well. I'm an HR business major and an economics minor. Originally, I'm from Merrill, Wisconsin, so about 3 hours north of Milwaukee, but I've been going to school here and I'm graduating pretty soon as well. So I'm excited to share a little bit more about our school and why I love it so much.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to our students for our student panel. If anybody does have any questions, please go ahead and throw them in the chat for us to ask our panel of students. It's kind of what they're here for. I'll start it off just so you all can kind of think about your questions. First off, for both of you, what made you choose UWM?
I can go ahead. I chose UWM because it was close to home. Personally, I commute, and I just thought it was super nice, close to home, and the diversity. I felt so welcomed, right as soon as I stepped on campus. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, mine is kind of the opposite. I chose UWM because it was far away from home. When I came to college, I really wanted to get out of my comfort zone. I really wanted to be in a big city where I could have lots of opportunities inside the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. So having all of that was really important for me. And also, as soon as I stepped foot on campus, I just felt so welcomed. I am a first-generation student, so there was just a lot of resources provided to me right away. And I just kind of felt like it was my home right off the bat. So that's why I chose it.
Thank you both. Next question, doesn't look like we have any yet. What is a favorite class that you guys have taken at UWM?
I would say, and it's funny because it was a tough class, but I really enjoyed it. Anatomy and physiology. For my major, occupational therapy. It's I really enjoyed that class because it helped me meet a lot more students in my major. So that was a really interesting class. So yeah.
So I think my favorite class is actually outside of my major. My favorite class that I've taken that I just found super interesting was a journalism class. It was just like the intro to journalism class. I took it freshman year, my first year of college. But it was super cool because we actually did a whole unit, section of the class on Disney. And I just thought that was so cool. I was like, I'm in college. Am I really though? I'm learning about all these cool things. So I thought that was super interesting. And then I also took a cross-cultural communications class that I really enjoyed. That was more recent, so I took that last year. But that one was super interesting because we got to do research on how Starbucks works in Italy versus in the US, or how Aldi works in Germany versus the US. So it was just cool to learn about different businesses outside of the US and how they kind of operate their businesses in other countries.
Awesome. So one of the questions, as a moderator, I'm just going to read the questions that come up in the chat. One of the questions is more geared towards the, we'll start with the admissions counselor. This is a good question. The question is, what is the cost for a nursing program? And you want to just elaborate just in general, just general tuition, fees, and things like that at UWM for the UWM and admissions counselors.
Yeah, I can grab that. So I was actually just typing it back. But so our tuition and fees, they're posted on our website. They can sort of be seen by anybody. But on average, it's typically about, for an in-state tuition for a year, it's typically about 20,000, no, 20,000 in-state if you're living in our residence hall. So that's on average what like our freshmen are paying in-state. So Wisconsin resident tuition, 20,000. That's fees, room and board, and tuition. Tuition itself for an in-state student in Wisconsin, it's typically about $4,500 a semester. And then if you're not living on campus, obviously, then whether you're living from home or you're living off campus, then there would also be costs associated with that.
And there are, and there are additional costs per program, and you can actually see that on their website. So some of those being like architecture, they have some additional costs to them. So it's really important if you're going into one of those programs to look into those as soon as possible. Nursing, more to do with like scrubs, different items that you might need. So the price does vary, but they're just additional costs. And you can see that they post it pretty clearly on their website if you have specific questions about majors.
Cool, thank you so much. And then we'll turn it back over to the students for, I'm going to group two of these questions just for the sake of time here. So the main thing about this question is, are the teachers supportive and help you when needed? So just your experiences with teachers, professors on campus. And then in that, do you want to describe just kind of what your average classroom size looks like?
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, the professors are super supportive, and it's, but it also has to do a lot with like you taking the initiative to seek out that help, you know, because professors will hold office hours, and you can always like email them, let them know like, hey, can I stop by? And, you know, to whether it's just to build those relationships for like future letters of rec in the future, or if you have a question about the class, you know, like they're super supportive and are there to help you. But yeah, and classes, I think it depends on the major too, like class sizes and stuff like that. I believe our ratio is 18-1, like 18 students per professor. But yeah, I guess Sam I don't want to steal all the thunder.
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of bounce off what you said as well. The size of your class really does depend on your major. Me personally, I found that my classes in my first 2 years were a lot larger. But after that, once I was in my program, the classes got super small, which is also really cool because you do get to meet people in your major. You have like built-in study buddies and all of that stuff as well. And I would say teachers are really helpful, but as Estella said, you really do need to reach out. You need to ask them for help if you need it. But I did also want to note that a lot of classes do have other resources besides your teacher. We do have past tutoring here on campus. A lot of classes have a teaching assistant or a supplemental instructor. So there's a lot of people here on campus, regardless of the class that you're in. Everybody is here to help, and they do want you to succeed. But it is about taking that initiative when you do need help.
Awesome. And then a follow-up question, Estella and I believe Sam, correct? What has been your smallest class and what has been your largest class?
I think the largest class I think was anatomy, because anatomy 1 especially, because that just includes all kinds of majors in the health science field. And like Sam said, like a lot of the intro classes, like my first year were lectures, so those were big classes. And when we were in person, I know one of the lecture halls, like I think our biggest one could hold up to like 300, 400 students. So, you know, yeah, like they can get big, but like Sam said, there's always going to be that that support My smallest class, I mean, do discussions count? Because we do have, like, with each lecture hall, you're kind of like paired up with a discussion section, and those are capped at like 12, students or so. But yeah, so that would be a small class, and I guess any class in the honors college are capped at like 12 to 15 students. So those have been my smallest classes.
I would say specifically the largest class I had was that upwards of 300. That is what we cap at for lectures. It was an intro to economics class, so a very basic course for a lot of business majors and LNS majors here on campus. My smallest was, I think, a meteorology lab. A meteorology is a science class that you can take. And there was like maybe 10 people because the room isn't very big and you're there to do your lab. So you have a lab partner and like that whole thing. So I'd say the smallest number wise is 10 and then biggest is 300.
Awesome. And then another question is, I'm not sure if I caught that, but I know Estella, you said you commute, correct? And then Sam, do you live on campus? Okay, perfect. Sam, you might want to elaborate on this. What are the dorms like on campus? And then Estella, do you want to talk about some of the resources that are offered for commuter students? So we'll start over with Sam.
All right, yeah, absolutely. So since I am so far from home, I did choose the residence hall option for my first year. We do have the first year requirement. So I lived here on campus in Sandburg Hall. I had a really great experience living there. If you come on a campus tour, if you come visit at any point, anytime soon, you do get to see Sandburg as a part of that tour, which is really awesome. But it's almost like a little city in itself. They have a coffee shop, they have a cafeteria, they have a place to do your laundry, to grab snacks, they have a little restaurant. So there's just so much in there. And I found it was a very social place and there was always events happening and ways to get involved. So you never felt like you were alone. There was always things to go and do, and there was always ways to keep yourself busy. So it was always nice to have things to go and do, especially when you're feeling a little homesick. So that was really awesome. My first year kind of helped me transition over to college a little easier. And then after that, I chose to live off campus. I do live in an apartment now where I'm able to walk to campus every day, and I've loved doing that as well. It's really nice to have your own place and live with your friends and decorate and everything. So I've had both great experience with both of those options.
Yeah, and kind of like on the flip side, I started commuting since my first year. I've been living with my parents, and I always say, like, I joke around like, oh, I'll be living with them till I'm 40. So no, I'm kidding. But honestly, I loved it. And it hasn't, and I think I've gotten the same opportunities to still be involved on campus and get those resources. Some of those resources for commuters are like, for example, transportation. Like UWM offers like a little like parking service for like I'm blanking on the name, but where students can like leave their car in like a big lot, and like a little bus will take them to campus, and little things like that, super helpful. There's also a Commuters Lounge in the Student Success Center, so you can hang out in there, meet other students who are also commuters. So, and there's always events happening around campus, like the it might change a little bit since we're doing virtual, but there's always opportunities to find student orgs and other campus organizations to get involved. So yeah, I really enjoyed commuting, and it's I think every student, depending on what they're like, whatever works best for you, like I don't think you should worry about whether you're living on campus or decide to commute. I think you'll still be able to find great opportunities to get involved.
Awesome, thank you. And then another just quick follow-up question to that is, can you choose a dorm room, or how does housing selection go for that? Sam, do you want to speak a little bit about when you were talking about that, and maybe one of the admissions counselors can chime in about how housing selection works?
Yeah, so I can kind of answer from what I know anyway. You can choose your roommate. So UWM actually does suite style living. So basically, in a nutshell, what that means is there's 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. There's no communal bathroom. So you can choose the person that you have in your room, but the suite mates are chosen based on other things that housing kind of puts together. So you can choose your roommate, but not your suite mates. And then I don't know if someone else wanted to add in more onto that.
Sorry, I'll just add in on kind of the next steps end from when we have admitted students' next steps taking place. One of the first things that we do have students work on is a housing application. And that's all through, essentially, it's we call it your My Housing app. So you'll be able to list your preferences of which residence hall that you are interested in. You'll be able to also list names and roommates if you have those in mind already as well through the housing application. The other big thing that I always like to talk about with the application as well is it does like a questionnaire of, if you plan to get up very early for anything, or if you know that there is going to be stuff that may be happening later in the evening. My examples I always like to share is, for example, theater practices or rehearsals, or even athletic practices could be going into the evenings. So in regards to what your daily schedule can look like, our housing office really does take that questionnaire into consideration as well when they're matching students together into suites. And then we also do have living learning communities. So if you are interested in an LLC that's typically matched by major or program. So as an example, our College of Engineering will have a number of floors that is an LLC. Our Honors College has an LLC, so everyone living on that floor is participating in our Honors College, even if they're from different majors. So that's a nice way to meet people right away who may be in a similar academic field that you're interested in, or it could be in a similar major as well.
Awesome, thank you. And then we'll switch over gears a little bit. As far as UWM's approach, this might be a hot topic question, but the question is, for in-state students, is there a different cost for US citizens amid the COVID-19 pandemic, or what is UWM doing during this pandemic, during these times, to address things like cost and room and board and things like that?
You want me to grab that one? I'm happy to chime in a little bit here. So I'll start by talking a little bit about some of the changes that we made over the summer for this incoming fall class. A few things that are temporarily kind of moved around to accommodate students who might be experiencing, some additional challenges due to COVID-19. We'll start by taking away, we started by taking away the housing requirements. So the UW system does require that all UW campuses have their new freshman students live on campus their first year in housing, unless of course they opt into or request the exemption to live at home with a parent or guardian or under unique circumstances. So that's our typical way that we operate with our new freshman students, is that we do either ask that you live on our campus or you live at home with a parent or guardian. And so over the summer, we realized that the majority of our students were likely going to be in a tough spot trying to decide whether or not they wanted to move to campus with so many unknowns. And so we removed that as a barrier this summer and allowed students to kind of, not have to be required to select housing plans in order for them to be able to enroll at UWM this fall. I can't speak for next fall. We are, there's a lot of things that are still happening, still changing. We're not sure if we'll be in a similar situation at that point in time. We're all hoping that we can kind of come back to how we were operating a bit before. So it's possible that that housing requirement may or may not come back again as an option for our students who are looking to move to campus their first year. I'll also talk a little bit about cost. So overall, our one process that has not changed is allowing students to really be able to tell us a little bit more about their history in Wisconsin, and that will allow us to determine if we would grant in-state tuition to that student or not. So if a student is not a U.S. citizen and you are not considered kind of an international student, meaning you're here on a visa of some sort, whether that's through a parent's work visa or you're here on a student visa, you could be considered for in-state tuition if you want us to take a look at and review your history and how long you've been living in Wisconsin, and determining if that would allow you to then qualify for in-state tuition. So We do have a process for that, and we do allow students to request what we call a residency appeal. And so you start with your admissions advisor and you let them know, hey, I've been living in Wisconsin my whole life, or I graduated from high school here, or, X amount of years that myself and my family have been living here. Could you consider me for in-state tuition? We could take a look at that if you are hoping that we take that into consideration. So I hope that helps answer the question.
Awesome. And then going into just talking about like majors and minors. So the question is it possible to do 2 majors at the same time? So essentially, what does the process look like to pursue a double major at UWM?
I kind of talk on that. So yes, it is possible to do 2 majors at the same time. Personally, I'm only doing 1 major and a minor. But what I do know is that, like, if, for example, if I wanted to do, OT and psychology as both my double majors, your advisors will kind of work with you and see, okay, like, let's plan it out and let's see what classes can like double dip, like for, what classes are valid for both majors, if that makes sense, because some classes can fall, you can get the requirements fulfilled, for both the OS degree and the psychology degree. If there's completely different majors, your advisors will also still continue to work with you. But yeah, it's definitely possible, and highly encourage you to communicate with your advisors, to set up those meetings. I think, at least once a semester to plan those like schedules out and all that fun stuff. But yeah.
So yeah, to basically just echo what Estella said, it is definitely possible. I would just work with your advisor as much as you can. Every student does get their own advisor, and you do, you're pretty much required to meet with them each semester, each school year. Every school and college is different, but they're really great with helping you achieve the goals that you set for yourself. I have a major, a minor, and a certificate, and I was able to do all of that because, like Estella said, a lot of the classes I was taking were double dipping into different programs. So your advisor will also help you look at that. If you do get to your senior year like I did, and your advisor's like, hey, do you want to add a minor? You can still do that. And I was like, oh, okay. So it can definitely happen further down the road as well without you even intending for it to happen.
Awesome. And then if somebody from the UWM admissions staff would answer this question, how does advising on a look like, or how are students assigned advisors, or what are the steps for students when it comes to advising? I know that's a big question that especially students that I work with over at Carmen have is, who's going to help me pick classes and stuff like that. So one of you guys can just elaborate just on that, how advising and how students are assigned advising work.
I can touch base on that a little bit as well. And we also want to make sure that we're leaving enough time for admissions information too before we finish up today. So for academic advisors, for students who are current on our campus, everyone is being assigned an academic advisor. So to start, for our students, it is going to be based on major. So within their program, they are being assigned an academic advisor within that college and within that major in that program. For our students who are undecided, we do have an Office of Central Advising and Pathway Advising as well. So that is also a specific assigned academic advisor that you will start to work with right away as you are going through new student orientation and as you are going through any subsequent semester. So every single semester you are meeting with your academic advisor then to talk about classes, if you are thinking of shifting majors or if you're thinking of switching majors, if you want to add minors and you want to discuss that option, double majors as well. That would be a conversation that you can have with your academic advisor then. There are also plenty of other resources and availability to talk with other folks on campus by all means. We have students who maybe going through our TRIO program. And so they will have a TRIO advisor as well. There may be other support services and offices on campus that are available. So it is possible that students could be talking and meeting with multiple people to make sure that they have everything that they need. So that does happen pretty much right away, is you are going to have that assignment for your academic advisor. And ideally, unless something happens like you're changing your major, that academic advisor is remaining the same throughout your time at UWM. So I know that we also do want to make sure that we are leaving time for some of our admission steps as we are getting into our fall 2021 application season. So just as kind of a general timeline for our admissions process, our application for fall 2021 is currently open. So it actually did open August 1st. We are available through the UW system application, and we are also new this year now for our new freshmen, which is very exciting. We are available through the common application. So students can complete one or the other. We honestly do not have a preference of which application you complete. I have gotten this question numerous times now, so I want to make sure to definitely say that as well. If you prefer to fill out the common application, because many of your other universities that you may be applying for is on the common app, definitely use that. If you know that you're applying to UW schools and you want to use the UW system application, definitely use that application. So the UW system application is apply.wisconsin.edu. That has gone through a major update as well. So it is a little bit shorter. It should be more accessible through mobile apps as well, and mobile websites if you are completing it through another device other than a laptop. Another big update for our students this year is that we have the option to self-report test scores on the application, as well as add an attachment of your high school transcript thus far. So that means that for you as a student, your application is coming to us complete, which is really exciting. We are reviewing applications on a rolling basis once they are complete. So that means that you should be hearing back from us with an admissions decision, hopefully sooner, by all means, once your app is here in our office. Required materials are going to be a look at that high school transcript for fall 2021 and moving forward into subsequent years. We, especially for fall 2022, we are not requiring the ACT or the SAT test scores. We will review them if they are submitted to us and you would like to self-report those scores. It is up to you and to each individual student if you would like to include that information. We also don't require letters of recommendation, but that is another material that we will review if students are sending us that information. On average, our incoming class has about a 3.2 GPA, and we typically bring in an incoming class of about 3,000 students. And in the past, for ACT, kind of middle 50th percentile averages, our composite was about 22 to 25 range. SAT, that's around 1150 to a 1250 if we're converting that from an ACT number. So our process hopefully will become much faster for our students, which is very exciting for us. We do have a priority deadline of March 1st, so it's very far into the school year. We are definitely going to encourage that you are applying as soon as possible. We have a new set of scholarships available for our students as well for academic merit that we want to make sure that you are getting reviewed for. That information is posted on our website, and we also do have a scholarship portal. So we are going to encourage students once they're admitted to make sure to log into that scholarship portal as well, so that you are applying for all of the scholarship opportunities. You're submitting the FAFSA as well after you have applied, so that you have that financial aid package before you make that admissions decision. I do want to pause to make sure if anyone has any questions about our admissions process, we can drop that into the Q&A as well, because we are happy to answer any of those questions. Otherwise, we will make sure to continue on with any other questions that you have in the chat.
Rachel, sorry. If you want to answer, there's 2 in the chat. Or I can just do it since I'm already talking. Is an ACT score required? One person asked, is the ACT score required? One asked, is the SAT required? The answer would be no. So we are not requiring test scores for admissions purposes this year. So if you do have an SAT or ACT score and you want to send it in, you absolutely still can. It's just not going to be required for admissions. I'm just going to answer this one live as well. When is the deadline to apply for FAFSA? So there's typically FAFSA, it opens up October 1st. So for the 2021-2022 school year, FAFSA will open October 1st. So you can apply as soon as you can, October 1st. And that's definitely something you want to get in as early as you can. You don't have to have, I know I get this question a lot, you don't have to have applied to another college yet. You don't have to be accepted to another college yet to be able to fill out your FAFSA. So that's something you can do before or while you're sending in all those different college applications. Basically, all you'll want to do is any school you are applying for, you'll want to indicate that on your FAFSA application. So at the end, it'll ask you what schools you want this sent to. Any schools you're planning on applying to, you're going to want to have those sent to. What happens is once you are applied and accepted to UW-Milwaukee, and then you've sent us your FAFSA, after you're accepted, our financial aid department is going to go in and put your financial aid package together and then get that to you. Those typically, if you're applying and doing your FAFSA in the fall, those packages typically start being given out to students spring semester.
With parking on campus, if you commute, it's free. We have a program where you can go to the U Park. Essentially, it's about like 2 or 3 miles north of campus, but there is a shuttle that continuously runs from I think like 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. at night that will take you from the U Park all the way from there to the campus. So it's completely free if you are choosing to commute from around the area. You can have free parking there. There are parking permits that you can get. They vary in price ranges for students if you want to have parking on campus itself. And I see one question, could a language be a minor? Yes, we do offer minors in like a lot of our languages, like I know like Chinese, Spanish, German, Japanese, you can choose that as a minor. I think most minors are around like 15 or a little bit more credits, but that'd be about like two or 3 years of taking the language for the minor.
Awesome. We have about 2.5-ish minutes. Is there any last question or any important dates coming up that the students should know about UWM? I know you guys do like a lot of different events that might have been virtual this year or just things coming up new and exciting on campus.
We have lots of different visit opportunities for our students. So you can go to our visit page. It's just uwm.edu/visit-UWM. We have a lot of stuff, like we mentioned, I know earlier, you can do an in-person face-to-face campus tour. We will also have Meet Milwaukee coming up. Some of those will be face-to-face, some may be virtual, just kind of depends. Those will be coming up in October. Those will also be on our visit page. So when the registration goes live, you'll be able to visit those.
Awesome. So we have about one more minute here. Anything else you guys would like to add before we end this session? And I want to thank all the panelists that were here, as well as all the attendees for taking the time to learn a little bit more about UWM. Looks like there is the visit page.
Yeah. I also wanted to mention all of our admissions advisors, and Jasmine, I don't know if you can pull the bio page, but our admissions advisors' faces and names and contact information are also up on our website. So if you can't quite remember which advisor today told you they were yours, our website can help you with that. And you can check out how to contact them. Everyone will have an individual calendar where you can grab an advising appointment. So if you want to meet with your advisor one-on-one, you can arrange for a phone call or a video chat. You can also either call or text the phone number listed next to their name. And of course, we're always available over email as well. So I highly encourage you to reach out if you have any questions after today's session.
Awesome. So that looks like we're right on time. So thank you so much for the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee for coming and talking, speaking to the students today. Thank you to the students and families, I'm sorry, for those that were in participation for the great questions. And hopefully we will be able to get to see you guys soon at other sessions. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and end this meeting now. Thank you, everybody.